Nostalgia is a powerful thing. It's why television shows with titles like Happy Days and The Wonder Years were made. It's why people go to class reunions decades later. And of course, it's one more thing brands can use to sell us products. Studies have suggested that the human sense of taste is intimately connected with memory, which might explain why you can find about 8 million websites bemoaning the loss of products that used to be made in the 1980s and 90s. And it certainly explains why, more than 2 decades after their original rollout, Doritos has finally brought back the 3D. The idea of a 3D tortilla chip feels like a particularly 90s innovation in that kind of woo haha isn't this futuristic looking way. But don't worry, Frito-Lay has actually upped the ante on this reboot. I actually appreciate this from a thematic standpoint. Instead of taking the regular flavors of nacho cheese and Cool Ranch, inflating them, and calling that a new product, they've actually added a third dimension of flavor as well. And of course, to join the 90s to the 2020s, they've added a dimension of flavor that falls under what everyone wants these days in their snack products, it seems: heat. So instead of nacho cheese, there's chili cheese nacho. And instead of Cool Ranch, there's spicy ranch. So how are these things? Well, let's take a look. And yes, these have been out for a couple months already, but listen, I'm just one guy. 3D Crunch Chili Cheese Nacho. Now, my recollection of the original 3Ds, and I didn't have them that often, and this was, about 20 years ago probably, was that they had kind of a nice, light, airy, crunch. Distinct, certainly, from regular Doritos, but of course the flavor was pretty much the same. So we will see what the spice adds here. And also I'd be curious to see if they've done anything different with the way that these crunch now. Well, you can really smell that chili spice in there. They've really just thrown some chili powder in. They don't actually list the specific spice chili powder, but that is what it smells like to me. Maybe it just falls under spices. It's funny, it almost looks like kind of like a closed off bugle. Really has a similar crunch to a bugle. It does have a nice little kick to it. Yeah, the spice really starts to build right away. Got a nice kind of low grade burn in the mouth and kind of all over the mouth, which I like. I don't like it when it goes just to one area. But it's also a nice kind of base level of that heat. Obviously it's not like really intense jelly beans, for example, just to pull an example out of the air. It's not super hot. It's not even, it's well below like flaming hot even. But just a nice little heat just to kind of warm you up, Texturally, I would say this is like a bugle, which is also made from corn flour, I believe, so that makes sense. I mean, this is the nostalgia talking, I suppose, but my recollection of the original 3Ds was that they were a little airier. These do not seem as kind of puffed to me. Once you start crunching down on it, you're really getting a pretty similar experience to a regular Dorito. There is that little air pocket in the middle, which let's just take a look at. So there you go. It is inflated around this air pocket, but maybe it's the thickness of the chip around the air pocket. It used to be airier, or I'm misremembering, which is certainly possible. It's a good crunch, but the question is, was the idea to make this like a lighter crunch than a Dorito, or is it just to have kind of a fun, different shape and take the theme of 3D and then add this third dimension of flavor and capitalize on the fact that everyone goes, ooh, Doritos 3Ds, I remember those, without actually duplicating the original 3Ds experience texturally. Again, it is possible I am wrong, and that I'm simply remembering them being lighter than they actually were. But anyway, setting aside that minor, it's not even really a complaint, but that minor comment, these are pretty good. They're similar to spicy nacho Doritos, which is one of my favorite flavors of Dorito. So might be my favorite flavor of Dorito. So these are basically that, just in a slightly different, shape configuration. So I got no problem with that at all. Now, Spicy Ranch is going to be kind of interesting because this is different from any flavor that is currently in the regular Doritos arsenal, as far as I'm aware. I mean, the chili cheese nacho, as I said, pretty comparable to spicy nacho. There's a Cool Ranch, but this is Spicy Ranch. So we've got ranch-style ingredients. There's sour cream and cream cheese in here. And then, spices, buttermilk. But then there's also jalapeno pepper. So, yeah. Your little Flamin' Ranch 3D there. So I'll be interested to see how this one comes out. Whether they thread that needle. It has kind of a creamy smell. So again, kind of like a closed bugle. But you really get that creaminess and those ranch flavors. I'm a fan of the Cool Ranch Doritos. Of course, I've already had some heat from the chili cheese nacho, so the heat is not hitting me immediately in this. I'm mainly noticing oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm mainly noticing the ranch initially, but as I just made clear, the heat does kick in after a second. Very creamy. I'm kind of surprised. It's been a while since I've had Cool Ranch Doritos. I don't recall them being quite this creamy. Like, there's a lot of cream-based ingredients in here and pretty high up the list. Buttermilk and sour cream and cream cheese, all like, so 8th, 10th, and skim milk, 13th, and whey 14th, and Parmesan cheese 15th, and butter 20th. And yeah, there's a lot of ingredients in here. These are not an all-natural food product. I particularly like these because they're unique. Spicy Ranch does not exist as a regular Dorito. So this really is, we've taken our regular Dorito flavor of ranch and we've really puffed it up, giving it that third dimension. So that's fun and thematic, and it tastes good. Could this have been a little lighter crunch-wise? Maybe. But flavor-wise, home run. Total home run. And you have to appreciate a little bit of heat. But again, it's a nice low-grade kind of burn, enough so that you enjoy it. You gotta like heat, but if you like heat, you probably like that kind of low burn, right? It's an enjoyable experience sensory-wise. It's kind of the mouth is a little warm and kind of feeling it on your head a little bit. It's nice. There's a reason people like spicy food. It's not because, they want to scorch their face off with, Carolina Reaper puree and then, wake up in the middle of the next night with heartburn, which did happen. Behind the scenes, but you want that nice mild to medium burn. This is, a feeling I think you would get comparable to like a medium salsa. But there's also that nice creaminess in there. So it's kind of a nice balance. So yeah, these are very good. So a little bonus here at the end of the episode. Doritos Ultimate Cheddar. Now these are a limited time only. I don't know how limited that time is because from what I can tell from some quick Googling, these first came out maybe a year and a half ago. I had not really seen them anywhere. I might have seen them once, but I did see them at Target this week. So I was like, limited time only, and also ultimate cheddar. I love cheddar cheese. Who doesn't? So I figure let's give these things a whirl as well. One interesting thing is that this is supposed to be ultimate cheddar. The ingredients list cheddar cheese, but then they also list sour cream and Monterey Jack cheese and Swiss cheese. So ultimate cheddar is like 4 cheeses in one. Literally. I don't know if this is supposed to be kind of a ramped up version of their nacho cheese. I don't know. Let's find out, shall we? Well, it does smell cheesy in a, I don't know, Tex-Mex dip kind of way. I feel like I'm getting a fair amount of Jack in there. So there you go. Looks pretty much like their regular nacho cheese Doritos. Maybe a little more orange and a little less red, but pretty close. There's definitely a nice hit of cheddar there. Nice layer of seasoning on that one. You get that cheddar. You also get that sour cream. And I say the Jack and the Swiss. It is a fair amount going on there. One thing that's interesting about these is I'm kind of surprised they branded them the way they did. Because you know what this kind of reminds me of? Is like queso dip. And I feel like queso Doritos would have been a good brand idea for them. Oh, hey, these Doritos taste like queso. But instead they called them ultimate cheddar, which, again, I like cheddar, and I'm sure a lot of people like cheddar, and that's somewhat enticing to them. But this doesn't make me think hugely of just cheddar. And frankly, even if it did, is that what I want out of a Dorito? I mean, I kind of like my Doritos with a little bit of kick, which these, obviously I'm coming off of the spicy 3Ds, but even with that in mind, these are on the mild side, and I presume by design, but, they don't even really have that kind of sharpness of like a nacho cheese. It's almost like just like a milder version of nacho cheese, which is an odd choice for a limited time brand extension. I'd be interested to compare these side by side with nacho cheese Doritos because I just don't think the difference is that huge. I'm working off sense memory. It's been a while since I've had regular nacho cheese Doritos, but if this were labeled nacho cheese Doritos and I opened the bag and started eating these, I don't think I would think there's something wrong with these. It's missing something. The difference, such as it is fairly subtle, and such as it is, it's just kind of like these are a little less. I mean, nacho cheese Doritos are not spicy, but still, it's a little less spicy. It's just kind of a very basic level of Dorito flavor. I mean, labeling it ultimate anything seems a little excessive and probably not that appropriate. Now, with that said, these are totally good. They just don't need to exist because I don't think they're different enough. And I just think a different name might have sold them a little bit better. Again, if these were labeled like, Doritos con queso, queso dip Doritos, queso Doritos. I mean, yeah, I know that nacho cheese and queso are kind of similar things too, which, yeah, but these are also very similar. So what would have been the difference, really? And selling them as ultimate cheddar when they don't taste that much like just cheddar. They're limited time, so I guess who cares? They'll be gone soon enough. But yeah, these are, again, if you end up with these and you have to eat them and you like Doritos, you'll be totally fine because they're basically regular Doritos. But from the standpoint of, do I need to go out and try this limited edition Dorito flavor? No, you can go ahead and give these a miss, I would say. So that is it for this episode of Flax on Snacks. Welcome back to Doritos 3Ds. Both very, very good to excellent. And the spicy ranch in particular, giving you a flavor experience that you definitely cannot get in regular Doritos. So I highly recommend those if you like ranch Doritos and a bit of spice. And if you don't like ranch, then you can get the chili cheese nacho Doritos. And if you don't like spice, you can still get regular Doritos. They haven't stopped making them. In fact, you can go get ultimate cheddar Doritos because those will be nice and bland for you. They're fine. Anyway, that's it for this episode. More episodes coming because I have a backlog of snacks currently in the apartment, or as I call it, a snack log. So that'll be coming soon. Look for some more spicy food coming. I got some spicy Pringles and some spicy Blue Diamond almonds. I've also got a Snickers peanut brownie. I've got a new, it's like a nerd's rope that's been chopped into pieces. Coffee flavored Kit Kat, and then also some Dunkin' Donuts bottled iced coffees that taste like Girl Scout cookies. So that sounds like a lot of stuff because it is. And I'll be consuming it in the not so distant future, so be on the lookout for that. But until next time, we'll see you then.